Well, there you go. Yeah? Okay, so what I'll be doing is a little introduction to GreenHopper. If you guys have participated to my first Charlie talk or this morning, it's going to be a bit redundant, so be advised. But if you like my speech, of course you can stay. So what I'll be doing, I'll be introducing myself. I will say in a few words what is GreenHopper, and of course I'm going to say who should use GreenHopper. So I'm JC Huet. Actually, my full name is Jean-Christophe, which is a French name. I'm an actuary with a master in computer science, and I've been working for 4 years with Pixies Technologies, and mainly on developing Jira plugins. And the last 2 years, I've been devoting them to GreenHopper. And today, actually, I'm a full employee of Atlassian, and GreenHopper is fully a product of Atlassian. So what is GreenHopper? Well, GreenHopper is simply another UI for a Jira, which has two main goals. The first goal will be to provide users with a simple, interactive, and intuitive interface. The second goal will be to increase the visibility and traceability of your Jira projects. So, and basically, whatever you do in Jira will be reflected in GreenHopper. So you can twist around Jira or GreenHopper, and it will support you in your bug tracking, ticketing, agile management, anything you do. Anything you do with Jira should be reflected and, of course, usable through GreenHopper. And now this is not going very well. Now I'm having nada. There you go. Okay, so who should use it? Well, of course, I'm the builder of GreenHopper, so I will say everyone should use it. More sales, more money, good. So, but the main reasons, here I have put 6 main reasons for using GreenHopper. The first one will be to be able to quickly update any fields on your issues. The second one will be to be able to prioritize your issues. In Jira right now, you have access to the Jira priority field, which, if you remember, Jira was first born as a bug tracker, and the priority for us is more, well, as it is implemented in Jira right now, it's more severity. So it doesn't have the notion of your ordinal priority. It will help you to manage your subtask. Today in Jira, you'll have, I don't think there's a view where you can actually manage your parents with a subtask regrouped, and it's getting quite difficult to have an overview of the effort of this parent task. It will help you to manage your versions, schedule easily the issues into these versions, and of course, track your versions with a quick status updates on these issues. So what I'll do is I'll quickly go through each of these points and give you a short demo. So the first one will be to quickly issue updating. So how is it done in Eclipse? No. Oops. Okay, I'm bad. There it is. Okay. So I have to do it on the screen, the big screen. Sorry, I don't have my laptop. So to quickly update your issues, so basically this is just to put you in the context. This is the main board of GreenHopper, which is what we call the planning board. This is, on the right, you'll have a column where all your unreleased fixed versions will be presented. And actually, as soon as you select a box on the right, you'll see in the central panel, you'll see all your issues. So to quickly update your issues, you simply have to double-click on it. You'll have access to what we call the detail card, where you have all your fields. Of course, this is based on a template that you can configure. And simply, directly within here, you can simply add some work, some text. So you can quickly update your issues without losing the focus on the list of issues that you have in front of you, which is the backlog. And of course, you can do this with most of the fields that are editable. And of course, it will respect the permission schemes, notification schemes, whatever you configure in Jira. There you go. So that, and of course, you can assign it in a fast way. There you go. Let's put some work to him. There you go. So you have your issues. There it is. The second point was issue prioritization. So like I said, in Jira, you have the Jira priority field, which is more severity. So it's kind of hard if you have all your issues, like a group of 5 issues that are marked as blockers. It doesn't say which one you should start with in the first place. So what we have done in GreenHopper is we have added what we call the ranking field that you can associate to your project. And as soon as you sort your issues by that ranking field, you can actually grab your issues and re-rank them directly in the list. So by drag and drop, you can bring, of course, you can do some multi-selection. Let's do something funky. Let's bring this one. And you can select them and put them under the blue ones. There you go. Did it work? I'll bring the, what's going down there? Yeah. There. So you can multi-rank, you can move your issues around, and of course, you can see the ranking field directly within the issue. So this is the standard Jira issue view, and you have the position of the issue that you can directly edit within Jira also. Here. There you go. So as soon as you close this, the screen behind will refresh, and the issue now is in first place. And of course, you can do this across pages. So here I have a second page of issues. I have 2 issues in my second page. So I can bring these 2 bugs, this one and this one, and bring them over the second page. You have a preview of the destination page. And if you drop them, they're now in the second page. Then the third point is managing your subtask. So like I said, in Jira, there's no views if you don't hack Jira to see your subtask directly regrouped with the parent task. Here in GreenHopper, you have access, all your standard issue type will have access to the creation of the subtask, of course, if you have the permission to create issues. So here I'm going to add a subtask. Sorry for the typing here. Actually, I'm going to create the second one rapidly. There you go. Create and close. There you go. So I should have my parent task, and directly under it, I have my 2 subtasks. So GreenHopper will keep the integration between the parents and the subtask. We'll see it as a block. So you always see your subtask under the parent. And of course, if you reprioritize the main task, the parent task, GreenHopper will bring along the 2 subtasks. And of course, inside the parent, inside the subtask, within the subtask, you can prioritize the subtask. So I can put this one after the other one. And of course, you cannot rank the subtask outside the parent scope. The fourth point is managing your versions. So again, in Jira, it is quite hard to keep some kind of, to deal with your versions. You can multi-link, well, you can multi-associate your versions to one issue, but then if you create a new issue and you forget to put the hierarchy, all the fixed versions that you need for that typical issue, you're losing track, it gets all messy, no consistency. So here, what we did in GreenHopper is you can actually link, you can nest some versions with other versions. For instance, this subversion 1, you can nest it to the other version, which is version 1, right up there. So it's like a master-slave relation. So here you can say, okay, my subversion 1 is a subversion of version 1. There you go. So now you see there's some kind of hierarchy that's being designed. And as soon as you drag and drop, this is the 4 pointer. But as soon as you drag and drop an issue and associate an issue to subversion 1, it will be automatically linked to your version 1 also. So here in my version 1, I will see the new issue and my subversion, and here in the version 1. So in the parent folder, you will see all the issues that are in the folder and the subfolders. And in subfolders, you only see the issues in the subfolders. And of course, when you do some planning, if you drag and drop an issue directly in the version, the parent version, you will not see it in the subversion because it's not assigned to it, but you will see it in the master version right here. And to help you, you have what we call the pending link. The pending feature will actually, if you click on it, it will show you all the issues that are associated with the version 1 and not yet into a subfolder. So when you're doing planning, you have a release, for instance, and you'll have subversions, and you'll plan, and you'll push the versions, the issues into the subversions, and you will want to see what's not yet committed, not yet planned. So this is the managed versions. So you can create and you can do an hierarchy, so you can go as crazy as you want. You'll be suffering on the UI, the GUI. So schedule issues is just what I've just done with my issues in the subversion 1 and version 1. And here what you see is basically the basic statistics that we provide. You can add your own statistics directly in the column. So here, for instance, if you want to support an agile team, you can add a statistic called story point. But you can add whatever number field that you want to track. And of course, you have your total estimate, total time spent, and remaining. The last point will be the quick status update. So what GreenHopper will also provide is another board called the task board. Actually, I'll do it here. So there's not much gravy. I'm just going to put it on version 1 maybe. There you go. So the task board is simply 3 columns. You can add columns. Of course, this is configurable, but built in, there's 3 columns, the to-do, in progress, and done. You can map any workflows directly through your columns, so you can actually map statuses to your columns. And to quickly update your statuses, you simply drag and drop. For instance, you start working on the bug, you put in progress, and it'll put the bug in progress. And for instance, here I have mapped my done column to 2 statuses. So here GreenHopper will say, okay, well, would you want to close or resolve that issue? And of course, if I resolve it, then my issue is resolved. And if I want to close it, it will be directly within the card. So here I'm going to show you quickly the GreenHopper Jira task board. There you go. So we have another mode in the task board, which is called the outlined mode. And the outline mode, what it will do is it will, again, this is an integration with a subtask. It will take every parent subtask, every parent issue, and build a task board for them. So you'll have, every parent issue will become a small task board, so you can easily track the progress of your subtask for these issues, for these stories, or main issues. And of course, you can do your progress directly within the board. and you have a status bar at the top. And actually, you can collapse all. There you go. And you have all the issues that are not associated with subtask will be put into another board called the other issues. So you'll have mainly your bugs or technical tasks that have no main task associated with. So to summarize, this is why, actually, I hope you saw the added value that GreenHopper is adding to Jira. So again, the 6 points are you can quickly update your issues within the cards without losing the focus of what you're seeing. You can prioritize your issues. This is a main missing point of Jira. You can manage your subtasks, so always have regrouped, see your parent with the subtask, and track them, like we saw in the task board. You can manage your versions, so play with your versions to make like folders. Schedule issues by simple drag and drop. Select multi-issues, simply schedule and drag by drag and dropping into the box, which is a fixed version. And the task board with a quick status update. Do you have another slide? Nope, that's done. So now I have time for some questions. Yeah? So go ahead.
So you're modeling iterations or sprints or something as like a subversion in this scheme? Is that right?
GreenHopper will consider a fixed version as a backlog. And a backlog, not in the agile term, it's a list of issues. So we're trying to dissociate the fixed version as the bug tracking system used to use them. We use them simply as buckets.
Okay.
So you can have folders. I think the best association will be folders. So you create a folder with a title, with a label, and you can create subfolders if you want to reorganize your main folder into like smaller folders.
Because one of the things we struggle with a little bit on our team is deciding whether to use fixed versions as like an iteration. We do 2-week iterations, or whether to use it as an actual version number. And for a while, it didn't really matter that much until we had to deal with multiple branches of the code when we were working on a stable branch and a trunk branch. And then we weren't really sure how to categorize issues so that it was clear what branch each issue needed to be fixed in, or branches, but also what time box it was supposed to be completed in. So what do you recommend for that sort of thing?
Well, it depends your project management style again. If you're agile, you use the release, and the bug you'll be fixing will be aiming at an affected version. And when you're releasing, what you have is a release, and as subfolders, you will have sprints. And as soon as you release the release you're just working on, that will fix your bug of your application. It will not. The affected version will be if you want, the relation with your bug and the source code if you want. But when you play with your release, I'm understanding that you're agile, Scrum. So normally you just go with your release and whatever because you have branches in your code, right?
Yeah, we do. I mean,
okay.
Hopefully short-lived, but I mean, it's the same thing with Jira, for example, where they're releasing 3.13.3 and also working on 4.0 at the same time.
Oh, you have separate. Then you have separate because in Agile, every sprint is a potentially shippable product, and a release is a shippable product. So when you're working on 3.13, you're working on the shippable 3.13 Jira, for instance. So all the issues that you're working on for that version will be in 3.13, right? This is a release that you're working on. And you have a separate release for 4 with the sprints of the 4. And all the tasks that are aiming at 4 will be in that. So you have 2 separate release.
Right. I guess the problem that we have there then is that often we're working on both of these in the same sprint because we're not making many changes on the stable branch. And so we're not going to have separate we're just gonna maybe have one or two tasks in state mode that get mixed in with a bunch of other tasks on trunk, and we just haven't really figured out how to model that.
Yeah, I think your problem is you have two shippable products at the end. That should be managed as like two branches. Well, it should be two different releases. So if you want to join that will be something more that you guys can manage with. If you want to put your work that you're doing in 3.13 and put it inside the sprint but it shouldn't, because you want to have velocity on certain things, and this will corrupt.
Yeah, we manage that exact thing just by cloning. It's the only thing we found that successfully models the fact that we have.
Branches?
Yeah.
Yep.
So for your backlog that's not actually assigned to a version yet, do you just use unassigned, or do you have a separate one you call backlog?
Yeah. What we do in our projects is we use the unscheduled. As soon as you create an issue, it's not assigned to any version, any fixed version, so it falls into the unscheduled bucket, and we tend to use it as the backlog, the to-do backlog. But some people don't like that, because if you're dealing with the public, everybody pushes issues. It falls directly in your backlog, so you can distract or lose your focus on the backlog. So they tend to create another fixed version called backlog, and actually the in-schedule would just be the filtering. So they receive everything from the in-schedule and they say, okay, this should be in the backlog, and drag it into the bucket backlog, which is the backlog will mainly be a fixed version that will never be released until the end of the project. And what we do is, in our case, we use the in-schedule as the backlog, because it pushes us to clean it up often, because everybody sees it. And what we tend to do is have another fixed version called wish list. And the things we know we don't do, we'll put it in the wish list. It's a nice way to say no to people.
Is GreenHopper going to eventually become the home page for Jira? Or is that always going to be two separate tabs? A home that's going to be the base Jira presentation, and then the GreenHopper tab?
That I don't know. That will be more a question to ask to Atlassian. Are you talking the home in Jira itself, or in the
Home is the basic presentation of every issue.
Yeah.
And then I saw we have the GreenHopper tab.
Yeah.
It's a separate tab. I'm just curious as to whether GreenHopper is going to essentially become.
No, the home will still be the dashboard. And you have actually, what we did is in GreenHopper, we have created a portlet that you can add directly in your dashboard, in your home. In your home. I can quickly show it to you. If you click on home here, there you go. You have the GreenHopper portlet right here. So should load up. There you go. So here you have basically the information in one quickly. So for instance, if you can put it in every releases that you track, you have a chart. This will be home, and you can jump directly from this view to the planning board, dashboard, or chartboard. And this will be hopefully very soon open social, so that you can have that in your Google, things like that. So, but no, the GreenHopper will still be, yeah. And hopefully in a couple of years it will be built in Jira, so there will not be any menu items. It will be directly in Jira. Yep.
This is a real basic one. Just in filtering, you have five resolved issues and done.
Yep.
Is done just resolved or closed, and resolved is just resolved?
No, the done, so that's in the context. You're talking in the filtering of the context?
Yes.
Okay, so just to put everybody in the same context, is actually in GreenHopper what you can use is a context, and the context is simply a way of filtering issues to, if you just want to see the bugs, you can actually go here, click on filter, and say, okay, show me just the bug, save and apply, and it will render the board just with the bugs. Hopefully, there you go. So you can see specific things, and there's a feature in here, you can actually, in the highlight will not filter out the issues, but will just gray out the issues. So you can still see all the issues, but the ones that you don't want to put emphasis on it will be just grayed out. So here, for instance, if I said only issues that are not done, it will highlight the issues that are not done and gray out the other ones. Oh, if I just jump, what did I use? What did I choose? All issues that are not done. Close. There you go. Sorry about that. It's just showing that you can add your columns, and here, by the user preferences, you can hide some columns. So here, my done column is hidden. There it is. There it is. So as soon as actually I bring an issue right here, it should be grayed out. So here it's grayed out. It's faded. So the option done in the filters is basically based on your column mapping, on your taskboard mapping. So as soon as your issues reach whatever you mapped your column done to, will be grayed out. So if you had used resolved and closed as a mapping of your last column, if you used show me the not done, it will show you all the issues that are not closed or resolved.
Oh, I see. So unresolved is unresolved.
Yeah. So in the filter, yeah, this is why we have created two. Yeah.
That's how you define it. Okay, that's why.
Yeah. Just going to close this. There we go. So yeah, in the context here. There you go. So here it will be based on the presence or not of a resolution, and this will be based on is it in the last column or not. So you can map your column to whatever status you want, and GreenHopper will consider it done as soon as it reaches the last column of your task board, which makes some consistency between all the boards, because you have access to a chart board, and the issues will be considered as done if it reaches the last column of your task board. Any other questions? Yeah.
Just to clarify, so if you have a different workflow that has, say, a couple extra steps, you're not limited to just the 4 columns that you have here?
No, no, no. You can add as much columns as you want. You can go crazy. But of course, you can create as many columns as you want. But again, here, as you can see, it will depend on your screen, how many columns you can hold. So here, I don't know how many columns I have. But as soon as you go back to your task board, you have all your columns. So if you're a Kanban, this will be good.
Question. I'm sorry, Joey, talked about this, but from a permission standpoint, who's allowed to have this administrative right to configure?
The one that can administer projects. Yeah, we have mapped all the permissions that we have here is based on the permission scheme of Jira. But there are some actions that GreenHopper provides, like the configuration of your projects within GreenHopper, like how many columns do you want to see, things like that. This will be the administer project permission. Whatever is in the clock